So some of the positives of my RSE lessons were being in mixed classes. It's a lot easier when the boys and the girls were mixed together because we both learned the same things. It was growing up in that comfortable environment, and we could also have group discussions. Primary school, I found it really commendable having us in a circle. It sounds like a young thing to do, which it is because you all do it in primary school, but having us together rather than the lines after lines in a lesson format, it was particularly helpful. Bring all the chairs together, let's just have a group discussion on this.
What I liked about RSE in secondary school was that the teacher I had made it very comfortable and very natural. She didn't encourage shame at all, and she was very sensitive to the subject. So that was really good. And also another thing that I really liked about RSE in school was when we were gifted sanitary pads and tampons. And I had started my period when I was 9, so I was still in primary school, but once I got into secondary school I felt really out of place because I didn't know anybody else who had started as early as I did. So when we were gifted the sanitary pads and tampons, I felt that I belonged. It wasn't strange anymore. I didn't feel uncomfortable about having periods because everybody else had periods as well.
So what did I like about RSE? So interactive and formative classes, like I said, that use scenarios, and it's fun and it's engaging and it's well delivered, and it's not a judgmental space, it's not scary. It also hammers home the importance of good, healthy relationships, not necessarily just safe sex, good relationships, respectful relationships, and also values the union of sex.
In schools now, a lot of the teachers are just put in their spare time with RSE, so it's not just seen by the students as a bit of a neglected, not enjoyable subject, it's also seen by the teachers as not an enjoyable subject because it's not their subject area. So having someone who's dedicated to that and is teaching that as a living was a lot more better. My lessons were often either just not used as RSE lessons, they were used as study time, or they were used as they were like end of day kind of lessons that you just get tagged on to the end of the day. Everyone's tired, everyone wants to go home at that point. They're not really interested in what the teacher's got to say, to be honest. And in this case, I think that the lessons should be put either at the beginning of the day or midday, or somewhere where the students have still got the energy to keep going and to keep thinking and to get involved and have those discussions.
One thing I didn't like about RSE at school was how inconsistent it was, because I think the most sessions I had were in year 7 and year 8, and I think between year 9 and year 12 I had about 3, so I think that's a problem that needs to be addressed, because I think between those ages, children and young people are becoming more curious, more active, they're more curious about relationships and their sexuality and everything, and their hormones are going crazy, and I think it would be best to learn about it and know that there's a safe space and someone they can talk to about what's going on behind the scenes, because I would have benefited from that, knowing that there's people that will listen and give me advice and tell me that everything's okay, everything will work out eventually. I also think we need to talk more about consent, sexual harassment, date rape, coercion, rape in general, peer pressure, all of these things in secondary school and sixth form, because these things are very common, and I don't think a lot of young people have enough education on these topics as a whole.
It seems more often than not they're trying to scare us away from sex by showing us gross pictures of STDs and telling us harrowing stories about teen pregnancies and how it ruins your life and stuff like that. And I understand that's important for understanding that safe sex is important. However, sex is also something that scaring us away from sex and doing that isn't conducive to teenagers growing up, developing sexual hormones and being in that environment with the other sex. It should be normalised, and by normalising it, you start it from an earlier age, you have it more regularly, and once people get used to talking about it more and learning about it and finding it fun and interesting to learn about and not feeling judged and not feeling embarrassed in front of the teachers or other classmates and stuff, it needs to become less of a big deal. I also think it should be less heteronormative. As I said before, sex education is often viewed as just don't get pregnant or don't get STDs, or that's what I've experienced. The worry of teen pregnancy doesn't apply to gay couples. And yes, STDs are important, but like I said, I also think it's more important that we are teaching that children should be engaging in developing good, healthy, strong relationships. What the building block of relationships and sex education should be, I think, is good relationships, safe sex.